So you want to play this new TFT set, but you are afraid of wasting your high MMR from the new season. Don't worry, because I've got a spicy comp for you. During the PvE playtime, one comp was utterly overpowered, and everyone who played this comp properly would automatically finish first or second. And you probably know already, I'm talking about the Duelist comp. There are two main reasons why Duelist suddenly became so strong. The first reason comes from the rework of the synergy. Now, if you have 6 or 8 Duelists, all Duelists will have native damage reduction and suddenly tank much more. The second reason comes from the new 4-cost Duelist, Twisted Fate, that has so much more potential to carry fights than Zed. So without further delays, let's jump into the comp analysis. The best version of this comp that will guarantee you second place 99% of the time is this version with Fiora 3 with 3 items, Nyla 3 with double locket of Iron Solari, Twisted Fate with good gear, and 8 Duelists thanks to an augment or an emblem. Obviously, this comp is not achievable every game, but you can still get a solid 4th or 3rd place if you don't meet all these criteria. But this also means that you can't force this comp every game, and we will cover the hints you need to see during the early game to go for this comp starting with the augments. By the way, you can access to all these infographics made by challengers for free. You simply need to join Tactor's Discord, which has a guide library for teamfight tactics and all the games supported. They released new guides daily, and I'm also hanging out in this Discord, so if that interests you, click on the link in the description to check the guides or ask me any questions. Thank you Tactor for sponsoring my channel. 3 augments are godlike for this comp. The first one is anything that can provide you with one more Duelist to help you achieve the 8 Duelist comp. The other 2 strongly synergize with your team because they reinforce your high tempo comp. I'm talking about the Thrill of the Hunt and Knife Edge. Ideally, you can win fights in less than 15 seconds with these augments. As for hero augments, you already know Twisted Fate carry or support are extremely valuable to you, but don't forget that you should also consider Fiora support or carry or Nyla support or carry, as they greatly impact fights. Don't pick low tempo augments such as Ascension or low value augments such as Stand United. So if you manage to get one of these augments I mentioned earlier at stage 2-1, you should definitely consider the Duelist comp. Speaking of the early game, this is a critical phase for this comp. Earlier, I said this comp is high tempo in fight, but we also need to play high tempo from early to late game. By that, I mean that you absolutely want to have a winning streak at every stage and apply pressure on the lobby. Well, obviously you want to start with Duelist units or as many 2-star units as possible. You also want to ensure to use all your items on the bench, especially now because this set offer many more items than the previous set. The best items to complete are Iron of the Locket Solari, Static, or items for Fiora such as Titan's Resolve or Warmog. You aim to finish stage 2 with a winning streak, level 5 and 20 gold. During the mid-game, you have 2 major milestones you can't miss. The first is at stage 3-2, when you need to push level 6 and roll until you find 6 Duelists. You need to roll aggressively until you find at least 4 2-star units. Once you have stabilized your board this way, you should be able to win all stage 3 PvP fights, leading you to the second milestone. At stage 4-1, you will push level 7 and stay at level 7 until you find 3-star Nyla. Do we actually say Nyla or Nila? I'm confused. Ideally, you want to have a 3-star Fiora as well, but if you have a Duelist emblem, it's better to push level 8 to unlock the 8 Duelists. Again, the idea is to play aggressively, even if it means you have a low econ, but you will still get back this money on a winning streak. Now let's talk about another important topic. Another part of what makes this comp difficult to master is understanding the priorities for items. To simplify it, try to follow this simple ratio during the early game. For each item you put on either Kale or Fiora, you need to have 1 locket of Iron Solari available on your team. And then, once you have 2 lockets, you can start focusing on either completing Fiora's item, if you make a 3-star Fiora, or Kale or Vayne, who will hold the items for Twisted Fate later. Twisted Fate is rather versatile thanks to his insane attack speed, but do not make items like Blue Buff or Ginzu's if you play with Duelist. Even though these items seem good, they are useless to him. Now let's talk about what can make your games go wrong fast. I already mentioned earlier, but if you pick low tempo augments like Association or Stand United, then you will not manage to apply a high tempo playstyle. Another mistake is to play this comp with a weak early game or mid game. Let's say you have a start where you can't fight 2-star units and you can't slam strong items like Locate or Static. It's probably best to consider another comp with a slower tempo. And finally, the third mistake to avoid is to make items like Blue Buff or Ginzu on Twisted Fate. However, just make sure that if you play Twisted Fate in a Spellslinger comp, then Ginzu becomes much more valuable, but on the Duelist comp, it's really not great at all. For those who don't know, I'm back and making TFT content with guides like this one and more TFT videos soon. In the meantime, you can find me on Discord with the link in the description, and thanks again Tactor for sponsoring my channel, and I'll see you very soon.